First game on the schedule that you and I have to talk about is number 4 Michigan traveling to Bloomington, Indiana to take on the Hoosiers. I'm going to start with it this way. Michigan is 25-0 when ranked in the top 10 and facing Indiana, and Indiana has given up 30 a game in its losses and gave up its first loss of Big Ten season for Nebraska, I should say. They gave up the first win of the Big Ten season for Nebraska. What hope, if any, does Indiana have of defeating the number 4 ranked Michigan Wolverines, Geoff?
The Michigan is looking forward to Penn State next week. I think that's the best way to do it, right? I'm looking at Indiana. It's some of the numbers on Indiana right now. So they're 3-0. Oh, excuse me, 3-2. They lost the last 2 games, as you mentioned. But 2 of their wins have a post-game win expectancy of under 25%. So that means they weren't expected to even win those games, Western Kentucky and the Illinois game in week 1. So like they've even gotten lucky to win 2 of the 3 games. They're just not a good football team. Unless Michael Penix is coming back to Indiana tomorrow, Saturday, whatever day we're doing this, they're going to have a hard time, right? Like I just don't know how you keep up with Michigan. Passed their Iowa test pretty well. I think Iowa's still a tough opponent, especially to score on. They did a great job, especially that opening drive, man. Boom, boom, boom down the field. Great first 15. They hung on at the very end. Late touchdown to make that score a little bit different. I think Michigan's just too good right now. And when you have a team like Michigan that's going to rely on running the football and playing strong defense, they're hard to have like down games on, right? Like if you're a passing team, I feel like you can have it's easier to kind of have a down game than like a Michigan team that's just going to go out there and say, hey, we're going to beat you up at the line of scrimmage and we're going to make you pay.
I don't find anything in there to really disagree with you about, except to say I want to push that narrative a little bit further along that they might be looking forward to a number 10 Penn State, which they'll host in Ann Arbor the following week. But it's also been the Blake Corum show in a way that I did not expect it to be to start the year. He is the strength of their offense. The offensive line, specifically guard to guard, has been very impressive. They were able to push an Iowa defense that I just did not believe they were going to be able to impose their will upon. And then J.J. McCarthy has shored up his ability to take care of the football. That was the liability with this dude. It's not the talent isn't there. He's a 5-star quarterback with the ability to make it happen on the run and to throw an accurate deep ball downfield. Now he doesn't put the ball on the ground. He doesn't throw it to the other team. And the defense is pretty doggone stout. Perhaps Indiana has a bit of magic, and they seem to at least once every year in games we don't expect him to be in. I think about 2020 when Michael Penix and Indiana gave Ohio State everything they want. Perhaps they have something up their sleeves with the home field advantage with Big Noon being on tap for this game. But it's hard to see past Michigan putting another win together as we go toward what we expect to be a top 10 matchup between them and Penn State in State College next week. All right. Next game on the schedule for you and I, my Oklahoma Sooners play Texas in the Cotton Bowl, neutral site game, Texas State Fair. Geoff, I said people are going to come bow hunting for my Sooners, and Texas Christian did exactly that. Put 55 on their skulls, 55-24. Perspective here is 2004, Brent Venables was also on that team, and the Sooners lost to USC national championship game, 55-19. Geoff, do you have any kind things you can say about my Sooners heading into this game in which we expect Quinn Ewers to make his return for the Longhorns?
So you're telling me you're going to play in the title game this year? Is that the reference we're making? Or TCU is going to win the championship? Is that what we're talking about?
Hey, Texas Christian's undefeated. They're
undefeated. I'm actually. We're going to talk about them later, I think, right? So we'll look at them in a few minutes. I'm surprised Oklahoma is not better on defense. And I know that you can say, well, the players are Lincoln Riley's players. Not all of them are. But typically when you have a defensive coach like Brent Venables, even with the players that aren't as good, you still find some defense, right? And like the guys on TCU were wide open. It wasn't like there was like lack of tackling, RJ. They were just open. And now you play, in theory, a better offense with better players if Quinn Ewers is back. And I don't know what they do differently to stop the issues on defense, other than obviously just assignments, right? Not letting guys run free. But if you're Sark, and I think no one's ever accused Sark of not knowing how to coach offense, right? They've accused him of not being able to finish games well and game management, but coaching offense, he knows how to do that. And if Oklahoma gives him these opportunities to get guys running on the field free, he will take advantage of it. So I think Oklahoma has to just stop doing that, right? And I think Oklahoma can score okay on Texas, But if they're going to let guys run free of these Texas offensive players, it's going to be another long game, RJ.
That is correct. I also think that it's important to point out that Brent Venables is not calling the plays. That's Ted Roof's defense, and he's very much put on the head coach hat. But also that Oklahoma has been plagued by injuries. Like Dylan Gabriel took a very bad hit.
Oh yeah, how's he doing? Any update on him? I haven't seen much.
Yeah,
this
week. He's not one to reveal too much except to say that they hope to have him. Nick Evers, the third string quarterback, who hasn't played a snap all year, might go, and then we know what we might have in one Davis Bevel. But it's also, you look around, Eric Gray had the knee injury. Not sure about whether or not he's going to be full go on Saturday. They had one of their better offensive linemen in Wanye Morris in a sling on the sideline. So we don't know if the offensive line is going to be at full go. And that was probably the only bright spot offensively is Javonte Barnes, 18 rushes, 100 yards. And then on the defensive side, Billy Bowman, one of the most talented players in the secondary, he got hurt. You're also looking at a Jalen Redmond that you're expecting to get a bunch of push. And if he doesn't play well at that defensive line spot, that's going to look bad. There aren't a whole lot of things to be excited about in as far as being healthy and ready to go the Red River rivalry. But I'll add this, and I'll give Brent Venables credit on this one. He said, I was a part of a team last year that began the season 4-3, and everybody told us that the sky was falling, and our guys decided that, no, we're going to go play a little football. And they won 10 games, right? Oklahoma wins 10 games this year. I'm going to be very, very happy, but I don't see how that is possible if you don't go get a win against Texas. Also would add in here, this is the first time that neither Oklahoma or Texas has been ranked heading into the Red River rivalry since 1998. That was Bob Stoops' first year as head coach at Oklahoma. We're coming up against a lot of firsts here, but the Burnt Orange is feeling pretty good about its opportunity to get one back after what has been one of the better games on the schedule the last, I would say even 3 years.
It's been great. Very quickly, so Dan Lanning, it seemed clear against Georgia, was not calling the defense, right? Like it was cautious defense and whatnot. I think we've seen, at least obviously I'm follow Oregon very closely, that Dan Lanning's been more involved in the defense each week. Like you just look him on the sidelines, he's giving signals, he's coaching guys up. Like, why hasn't Brent Venables done that? Like, this is his defense, is his side of the ball. Why not get more involved in making sure that his side of the ball, the one he knows best, is playing better?
Different strokes, different folks is what I got for you. He has a
I'm
way
just
in
curious.
which he wants to do it. Well, and he also he's made no bones about the way that we're going to do it is going to change each and every week. And he also talked about coaching for years, even as we're getting into game number 6 for him. But I found a little bit of strength in what he had to say. And that's a guy that's really hard to rattle. Even after these last 2 losses where they got 48 dropped on them on average, 55. And then I believe, goodness me, was it 41? I lost count after
41.
Yeah, ran in the third time. My goodness. And we're giving it up to guys that are running. So this is another really terrible problem for Oklahoma to have, Geoff. Adrian Martinez goes for, I want to say, 148 on the ground. Max Duggan does a bit better. We're all of a sudden susceptible to quarterbacks that can run around a little bit. That's also been new for Oklahoma. That's usually what we do to opponents. And now it seems like if Hudson Card is the guy that goes, he's the more mobile quarterback of the two. I'll give this one to you. Would you rather, or do you think I should rather see Hudson Card or Quinn Ewers if I expect to win this game as an Oklahoma fan?
Oh, you probably want to see Card. I mean, I think Quinn, I mean, now, of course, coming back from an injury, you might be slow to come back. But, I mean, Quinn Ewers looked pretty good against Bama, buddy. Like, he was
pretty good. Yeah, pretty good.
He was, So, I think you'd rather see Hudson Card in there than Quinn Ewers.
Thank you for watching the #1 college football show. Please remember to subscribe to the channel and like this video so that you don't miss any of the best college football coverage in America.